what is the value of finding your niche? And I think Carlton touched on that. There is a fear that if I don't necessarily offer to a particular demographic, that I might be losing money, I might be losing opportunities. But I want to speak to the fact that in some cases, it's actually the opposite. So why should you select a particular niche? One of the first thing is, it's really not possible to appeal to all demographics. No matter how hard you try, you're either going to do well in a particular area based on the amenities, based on your skill sets, based on your geographic, where you are in the world, or so on. You just will be unable to appeal to everyone. So in that case, sometimes it's better to lean into the area that you're best suited, and you will find a few benefits. If you do that, so for example, let's assume you're catering for families. In that way, you could emphasize on things and go above and beyond someone that is trying to cater for everyone. So in that case, if it's a family unit, then you could include a fold-out bed, maybe a crib or something like that is specific for the kids. You could have a play area, a babysitting service that is part of the package, so that the families, the wife and husband can go out and knowing that their kids are safe in a safe area, because you've planned this out. You've already made provision for it. The average hospitality property that's trying to cater for a wide variety of demographic will not be able to put these specifics as if you were saying, look, this is the area that I want to focus in. In addition to that, let's assume that you're catering for millennials. You're catering for persons that want to ensure that they could get the latest technology, their smart TVs, they could connect their device to the sound system in the room. Then you know for a fact they will enjoy the extras that they could look forward to when they book with your property. What you will find is that if you could niche down and you could specify, you could add these extra amenities that goes beyond the normal hospitality offering, persons will most likely pay you extra for simply being able to go above and beyond for you. And instead of you trying to cater for everyone, you would really get an opportunity to understand who you are. You could specialize in it and just get better at it. And I've experienced that same issue with one of the properties I manage. For example, this property is best suited for families. It includes 4 rooms, in some cases 5 to 6 beds, king, queen size in most cases. It caters on, can accommodate 11 to 14 persons. But then as we opened up post-COVID, what you start seeing is a lot of couples that's saying, hey, can I rent the entire villa? Yes, I know it's 6 beds and it's only me and my wife, but I would like to get a couple's rates. Didn't make much sense, especially for a small property where you're going to rent out an entire villa that's really could accommodate 11 to 14 persons for a couple simply because you want a booking. And then your housekeeping still have to probably clean the entire villa because you can't tell where and what room that, especially where some of the room is easily accessible. So it creates even more cost for you over time, unlike where you sometimes just have to say, no, we don't offer this particular service. However, I do have a recommendation, a colleague that has really great couples accommodation, and I may send my business there. But what you find, because of our relationship, when they now get a large family that is outside of their normal accommodation, they would readily send them my way and say, hey, we're not suited for that size, but we have a colleague that we think will be excellent for you. That type of relationship really helps. And where you might think I'm losing business by sending business to another property, but building that relationship, you would see where they would return the favor when they have a group that is not suited for their demographic or their niche. Once you've identified your niche, how do you lean in to take the best or get the best out of niching down to a particular area? And I'm going to touch 3 areas where I would say you want to focus in. And the first one is to fall in love with your story and tell the world about it. A lot of times when persons are going to a property, they're making up their mind from just scanning who you are, what do you stand for, what can they expect. And a great way in how you could really attract guests is by telling your story. Who are you? Why are you doing this? Why are you so interested in the hospitality industry and caring for persons? And people connect a lot of times with your story more than your property, because they could understand who you are and it could appeal to them. In many respects, people don't just want to come to your restaurant or hotel. They want an experience, and you could really guide them through that experience in the way you tell your story. And how is that communicated in all your touch points? How you communicate it on your website, on social media, from your videos to your flyers. Just everything that you do is telling your story in terms of who you are. If you're someone that cares about an eco-friendly environment or an eco-friendly world, you will see that in the colors you're using. You will see it in the way in how you recycle water on property. You will notice in the type of amenities that you use so that it is energy efficient. And people that have that same calling, that same responsibility towards global warming or issues like that, will feel much more inclined to either pay more to come to a property that embrace who they are and what they are known for. You'd want to recognize that most of the successful hospitality brand, they're able to build their foundation from storytelling. They're able to really encapsulate that in the way in how they communicate all their touch points as well. The last point here is connect with your customers on an emotional level. Persons make a lot of decisions not just based on cost, not just based on the look and the quality, but a lot of times on emotions. And if they connect with you, connect with your property, and it speaks to them in terms of you understand the value of what this means to them, their experience. And let's assume that you're positioning as a let's say a wedding destination, and you speak to the fact of why weddings are so important to you, and you could really recapture your experience in weddings, or what is the value of this, and how you go into making sure that this experience is seamless for the guest that is coming there, and all the effort you go into to make sure everything is right. And you could really speak to that, and you could share it in the different experiences that others might have gone through at your destination. You will recognize that you're building an emotional connection with the prospective guests even before they arrive, because you're telling them you understand them. You understand them in the context of how you've treated each of these, because this is a part of the fabric of who you are. Your brand is holistic. Many times, and I think Carlton touched on this in our last episode, there are times that persons might single out a particular brand element and consider it their brand. My logo, that's my brand. Or this building, that's my brand. The brand is holistic. It encapsulates everything you do and everything you touch. When customers choose, it depends solely, it's not just on the products. If you and every other property out there is simply depending on your price and maybe the amount of rooms, the amenities, then you're vulnerable, because someone could always come out with a fancier hotel, a cheaper hotel, maybe more amenities. But when you could recognize that your brand goes beyond the physical things that persons are touching, and recognizing that your brand is encapsulating your story, every touch point, the care that you go to ensure that persons are able to get a contact when they reach out to you, how easy it is for them to reach out to you. Have you considered including a chat bot on your website so that when persons ask questions, you've already gone through your frequently asked questions and have your answer ready for them? So even if it is 1 o'clock in the morning, maybe where you are, but depending on where they're coming from, it might be during the day. You're not there to answer them. Now, if you think through the fact that you want to make sure your customers, your guests get all the answers they need, then you're putting that in place. You're thinking through the way in how they could contact you that best suits them. If they would prefer to call you, how easy it is for them to call you, depending on where they are in the world. Can they call you via WhatsApp? And is it simple for them to be able to do so? Can they send you a chat? When they send you an email, how often is it checked? Do you get a notification on your phone or so forth, so that you could respond in a timely manner? Today, persons no longer send you a message and thinking in 2 days you're going to respond. The average person is expecting a response within an hour. And that's just the way people are today. There's an instant world. When they send you a message on Facebook or on Instagram, they're expecting a response. They're actually sitting there waiting for a response. Because here's the funny thing, and I see it happening all the time. Someone is looking for a property and they send you a message, and they send 3 other property a message for the same question. Hey, what service do you offer? Do you offer a couples rate? You take 4 hours, maybe a day, to get around to answering that. But the other property respond within 5 minutes and answer their question, send them a link to their website, and do a wide range of things as well. Who do you think they're going to book with? You guessed it, the person that responded right away, answer their question, maybe give them an option for them to call them, WhatsApp them, maybe ask them for their question. So your brand touches all that. Your brand deals with how you're going to ask and answer the question as well. So you want to take all that into consideration also. Your brand fits into your company's mission statement and value. Who you are, what it is that you are trying to portray to the world, your brand touches that. So you want to make sure that even in your touch points, you're seeing all that information. You want to identify your target audience, understanding who they are. And I touched that earlier in terms of niching down. When you understand who your target audience is, what is their destination experience, then everything that you do should tie into that. The way your logo is designed speaks to, are you trying to reach a luxury type of guest? Are you trying to reach someone that in the young demographic? Depending on who your target audience is, your brand element needs to speak to them. Again, it is very difficult for you to reach everyone. And if you try to reach everyone, you become a lot vulnerable. You really is unable to reach down and to tap into that. And this is the last point. Deliver hospitality and not just service. Hospitality is about caring. The word transcends the industry. It's being hospitable. While service has to do with you executing your duties. Now, you could go through and book someone and you could do all the things right. You could answer them the right questions. You could make sure they're filling out the information. You tell them all the details about their amenities. But here's where hospitality goes the difference. Hospitality is where you're able to anticipate the guest's needs even before they know they need it. They don't necessarily ask you what is there to do in town, but you recognize that they came up from out of town. They don't have kids with them. You've probably overheard they're asking about what to do. Here is where you already have prepared some of the top places that they could go to in your area. You recognize from, and there's where something you need to do some research as well, and ask them if there's any specific needs they have. Do they have any special requirements? For example, my wife is allergic to every single shell food. I mean, seriously allergic. So when I go out, I always have to tell persons, hey, do you put the shrimp on the same stove because even if just the slightest hint of it will send her to the hospital. There is where you got to be prepared to have a vegetarian ready alternative for someone that might be in this situation, or have that information available to them to just go over and beyond as it relates to that. It reminds me of my experience when we went to vacation in Puerto Rico and we stayed at a Holiday Inn. Very simple place. They just had breakfast. For my wife, once the place have breakfast, we're cool. And we spent a lot of the time outside. So where we stayed was not as important as the destination and the experience. But the only thing I remember about that Holiday Inn was the concierge that was there at the front. It was like a tourist or a guest services area. She just went above and beyond. She helped us with getting the right rental, where to go to shop, what's the best place to find to eat, what is it that we're interested in, and places that we could go, how we could exchange money. I mean, name it, and she answered it. Just her being there would make me want to go back to that Holiday Inn. And I mean, I will not be going back because of the room. It was not going to be because of the food. It's not going to be because of the location. It was all because of that concierge person that just made our experience just a wonderful stage. She allowed us to find the right rental, find the right place to eat, the right place to go out. She was able to, and many of the things we didn't even ask her. She just suggested. She saw that we were two young couples that was in Puerto Rico looking for, probably was first time we were there. She let us know, you know, where a place where you can get person that speak English and so forth. And it was all about the experience more than anything else. So that's where, when I'm talking about deliver hospitality and not just service, you want to provide an unforgettable experience. So in one word, care. Care for the guests more than simply delivering a service and what they spend. And if you could do so, you're going to create the type of experience someone will be looking for that's going to make all the difference. So I hope that something in that made sense for you.